Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of Tampa Live. We are here with some real specialists, special people. Co-host Jeff Iglesias, Tyler Wynn. I'm your host Joe Flores, but today we also have a special guest, my guy Manny Vargas.
What's up?
He came in town from neighboring city of Orlando. He's known for recruiting hundreds of agents in his network, real large network, a good leader in the community. He's really big on financial literacy, aka life insurance is what I'm used to seeing. So he comes from a whole nother space, how to help others. You know, unfortunately, guys, this week we came through, Hurricane Helene. She came through Tampa Bay unexpectedly. Yeah. We've always been hit by hurricanes. We've always been protected by the spirits. But this unfortunate go around 2024, the coastline was affected. Anybody that was pretty much in the flood zone, their homes almost got flooded. And to see it as us, as people in the city of Tampa, our condolences are with you guys and your families. 100%. And, we're doing everything we can. We have a distribution center. It's a drop-off donation center at the new LPT Realty Hub in Carrollwood. It's an official hub. You can drop off donations. No cash donations, just, things that people could use like cleaning supplies, tissue, Pampers, anything to help the families out there that are affected from the Hurricane Helene. So we are official relief drop-off center, 4014 Gun Highway, Suite 125 in Carrollwood, Tampa, 33618. So if you guys get the opportunity, don't go out of your way, but if you have the opportunity, please stop by, drop off any donations to help the families affected by Hurricane Helene. So to set that off, hey man, Jeff, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, Joe. We survived.
Well. Yeah, we survived. Yeah. And, interesting, people got impacted in many ways. People that lived in homes, dealing with insurance, or if some people didn't have insurance, they might be dealing with FEMA and the disaster assistance programs out there. Luckily, a month ago, I was able to experience some clients that were dealing with the damage of Tropical Storm Debbie down in Manatee County when they opened up the river, the dam, and the river just kind of flushed the neighborhoods out. Non-flood zone communities.
That's so crazy.
And we were still trying to fix those issues, but what I learned rapidly was they had the disaster assistance program that was helping the whole neighborhood out and really releasing funds to them faster than their insurance claims.
That's awesome.
So, if it's of any help, definitely check that out, disasterassistance.gov through FEMA. They're supposed, to my understanding, they cover majority of whatever your main insurance doesn't cover. So if that's of any help, go to that site, check that out. But because we experienced that a month ago with Tropical Storm Debbie, we were able to share it with the people out here, and they were able to get ahead of the line, more or less, or stay on top of the line. Because these funds out here, once they dry up, government starts acting slow and starts taking people a long time.
100%. Even insurance, too.
Even insurance.
Right.
Have you guys been seeing, what have you been seeing in the community, or... There's many different levels. We have a mortgage side of business where people are trying to buy homes.
Right.
And we have agents that were supposed to close on homes, and then the hurricane comes. Different people get affected in different ways. People lost lives through this process.
Yeah, 100%.
And so this is a time where family members are contacting their life insurance companies, and also, so it's a process and it's a mess for everyone. So we really feel for everybody out there. But on the business side, I know what happens when you have a house and you're supposed to you have a buyer, they're buying a house, let's say on the beach. What happens when a hurricane comes and they're supposed to close in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, so that can depend on a few variables, I have a listing out on Reddington Shores right now. Fortunately, it's in a condominium tower, so, it's not a home. If it was a single-family home, there's a potential we wouldn't have that listing to close on anymore. But fortunately, on my listing, it's just postponed closing about 15 days so that they can get a bonded certificate of insurance for the building. There is some damage. There's on the first floor, like the lobby floor of the building, there was some water. Elevators were affected. The main check-in area was affected. The pool area was affected. Amenities mainly. So things like that didn't really affect the unit. There was no insurance claims on the unit itself. So that unit is going to close. But, it's not the same for every listing out there.
So they don't need another inspection to close that?
Fortunately, on this unit, there will be reinspection. The building will have an inspection done, but no, the unit's fine.
Gotcha.
But that's not the same for every unit on the beach or every home on the beach.
Well, congrats to your clients there to still be able to move forward with the property that they want. Tyler, on the mortgage side,
Right.
what happens, or what are you seeing on your end, the different scenarios that come up from Hurricane Helene? How is it affecting people trying to get mortgages, and what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, so similar to Jeff, luckily we are going to be able to still close on these clients' homes, right? The only thing is there's going to be delays. As right now, lenders are asking for a reinspection, natural disaster reinspection for the property, just making sure it's not damaged, right? And that protects, the buyer. It protects all parties at that
Is
point.
this every buyer, has to be, in a flood zone, or is it the whole Tampa Bay?
Yeah, that's a great question. So any counties that are in the FEMA natural disaster list, which came out on Tuesday, those counties will, the loan is still in process. They will have to do a reinspection at this point in time. So again, it's just going to be delays. As you can imagine, these appraisers are already busy as enough, and now you got this natural reinspection, right? So it's going to take some time to get things to process and close.
If someone was purchasing a property,
Yep.
they're buying a beach home, financing,
Right.
and something like this happens and the house gets flooded out, is that buyer protected? Like, what happens to that deal at that point in time when something like that happens?
Yeah, what I would say is that the natural disaster inspection, if it comes back, hey, the property's damaged, it's going to be subject to the repairs, right, at that point in time. So that means that the seller would have to repair any of these properties because again, we already had our appraisal report, right? So if it's not in the same condition that you got it for, and even in the contract, right, if whatever you already saw with the home inspection at the time being, and it's different from now after the storms, they're going to have to get it fixed before we close.
Yeah, and I will add, on our beach condo, while the unit's not being reinspected, none of the units had insurance claims. The building itself, it's going to have to go through one of these building inspections, and if there's any sort of structural issues that come up, they are going to have to be remediated before the
Was there
property's
flooding
moved.
on that particular building you were
So,
on?
the way this building is built, the only thing there is on the ground level is outside parking, the main lobby where guests check in, and 2 elevator banks. So, the units were completely unaffected, but there was about 2 feet of water inside that building.
It's crazy.
It's all drained out, obviously. They've pumped those elevator shafts. They may honestly have the elevators working already.
Yeah. The advantages of having a condo on the water.
Yes.
This office building had got flooded in
Yeah.
the lobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the lobby was flooded where we're at today, a week later. I mean, I gotta commend them. They did a
They
great
did it
job.
fast.
You don't
Yeah.
even know everything's brand
But-
new. So
Yeah.
But you should see it. It's crazy. The beach is all the way up across Gulf Boulevard. It's really wild.
beach meaning the sand, literally
Yeah.
the beach. The sand
Yeah.
is now across the street,
Yeah.
on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
We've never seen something like this before in this type of effect. And it's not that it was about the rain or the wind.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was the
the
water being
surges. Yeah.
surges. The water surge being pushed into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It's an experience right now that we're going through, and hopefully we can drop tips to help everyone out there that's going through this. We have Manny Vargas with us today. He's a life insurance specialist. What happens in the case? Like, I've heard, stories that don't sound great. Like, people got trapped in their garages while floods came through and flooded out the house, and some people didn't make it. They might have passed away. At that point, when something like that happens, what does a family member do if they knew their family member or friend had life insurance policy? What are they supposed to do? Like,
Well,
at that
you mean the steps that they're going to take?
the steps that they would take.
Us as agents, so on the agent side, like I'm actually doing that right now. We're on a big campaign of calling all our agents, making sure we communicate with the beneficiaries.
Right.
Because you won't believe that a majority of policies don't pay out because the beneficiary doesn't know what to do. So it's simple. So now that's our new campaign. Connect with the beneficiaries, walk them through the steps. So let's say that case was to happen, someone died in the flood or whatever the case may be. They're going to contact us. We're going to file the claim. And insurance companies now, they're pretty fast with.
In that situation, let's just say it's a mother. She got a life insurance policy for her. She was thinking ahead of the game and wanted to make sure if anything were to ever happen, that her kids and her family members would be have some type of financial support. I think that's the purpose of why a lot of people get life insurance. So let's just say that person who bought the policy doesn't talk about it with their kids like that, but that person passed away in the flood. what does the kid do? For example, the family member. What do they do
first of all,
to figure it out? Because they might not have no clue what to do and what policy she was really with.
Well, it's not going to be the kid because if he's under 18, you're going to be a contingent, right?
I guess I meant the son and the sibling, right?
The beneficiary is going to be on there, and we have all their information. So we reach out to them, we communicate with them.
That's awesome.
So let's say something happened to you, God forbid.
Yep.
Whoever your beneficiary, they're going to know,
Yeah.
hey, something happens here, call Manny, send me a text overnight. So
Right.
the minute I wake up, I see it, I start getting the motion filed a claim.
Nice. Okay.
Right, this year, we've probably paid out about 4 claims.
Yeah.
Right, 4 claims. They were all children, not children in the sense of under 18, but they died before their parents.
Oh,
Right,
wow.
so it's crazy because it's supposed to be the other way around.
Exactly.
But when it comes to filing a claim, it's simple. You know, when that policy goes in place, we've already reached out to all their beneficiaries. They know exactly what to do. I'm on their phone just like their lawyer, their doctor.
What
their
should
life
they have
insurance
prepared?
agent.
Like, what will they want when they speak with an insurance company? Let's just say they happen to call the company, the contact number. I'm sure that they might want something. Is there something they need to provide?
No, nothing. They're on there. They're on the documentation. When we submit this policy to the carriers, it's on there already. They're already part of the
Do you
policy.
need like a death certificate or anything?
Yeah, well, the insurance agencies, companies, they take care of that.
Okay,
right?
gotcha,
So once
gotcha.
they call me, I file the claim. The insurance, they go get that. They wait for the death certificates and all that stuff like that. But I'm the middleman. I'm the guy. Insurance agents, why we're so valuable and why we're so important is because the average person doesn't even understand insurance.
Exactly.
Right? Just like I'm sure you guys as well, buying a home or lending.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand the steps. You
Right.
guys make it easier for them. Correct?
Yep.
So that's my job. I'm the middleman from the carrier to the people. Right? Similar to how we used to do with insurance. The people just didn't know how to fill out the information back then, and that, right? My job is to sit with them and say, hey, these are your options. Some of these options you may have never heard of them.
Right.
But why have you never heard of them? Because 90% of the people get insurance through where? Their job.
Yep.
And when you go get insurance through your job, what do they say? Hey, open enrollment, come here, come sit down. I'm not an insurance agent, so I can't help you legally.
Right.
But have you ever been in a job where you're like, hey, what'd you fill out? Because no one teaches you. What do you don't even know what you have.
Exactly.
And what most people don't even understand is when they leave that job, that insurance is gone.
Oh.
So this is all why it's considered financial literacy. And we were speaking on this earlier. Like, we probably all believe that this is something that should be encouraged and spoken more of in the school system about financial literacy and
Right.
what's the importance of
Look,
understanding.
these are some cold-hearted facts that most people don't want to pay attention to, but it's the facts. 56% of Americans right now have less than $5,000 in savings. 56%.
That's sad. That is
Right?
crazy.
That
That's
could
crazy.
be mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin,
Right.
neighbor,
Right.
co-worker, babysitter, whoever the hell it may be. 56% of them.
Yeah.
But 90, but then you go down and you're like, dang, the average household is in debt $90,000. So look, less than 5,000 in savings, debt 90,000.
Right.
In your guys' opinion, is that killing our country?
100%.
100%.
Is that what you would say, right?
100%.
So I used to think the same way. Man, no saving debt's killing our country. La, 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 la. And then you really break it down, it's income. You're not getting paid enough.
Yep.
So how are you going to save?
Yeah.
How are you going to get out of debt?
Right.
So if you bring it back to the facts, in the 90s, a husband and wife, right, were bringing home about $52,000 a year. You fast forward today, 33 years later, you guys know what that number is? It's like 58, 59. It went up a couple $1,000s over the last 33 years.
Yeah.
But
Insane.
But
Yeah.
what went up? Cost of living, rent.
Inflation's real.
Everything
Yeah.
you could imagine.
Yeah.
I sit with people and they're like, oh, dollar store, why y'all tripping about another 75 cents? I don't know. Go talk to the family that's used to paying $1.25 for their milk. Make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
That's what I call today's realities. When we sit with a family, we have to help them understand, like, hey, these are today's realities, and you're probably in this bracket. Because how many people do we actually know that's going to have, right now, have 30,000, 40, 100,000 in savings? Man, that bracket's like very low,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what are their options?
Right.
Go get more jobs, go do DoorDash, go Uber Eats, go bartend, go bar back.
There's a lot of side hustles
Yeah,
right
get a
now.
real estate license and try to get rich quick. But you guys are in the game. And you guys understand that real estate agents, first 2 years, probably never sell a home unless you're a dog.
Meaning go get her.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Unless you're a dog.
Yep.
Because I have a bunch of people that come and get their insurance license and they're like, hey, I've been doing real estate for 3 years.
Right.
I'm like, great, how many houses you sold? None. You're not doing real estate. You just
Yeah.
have a real estate license, brother.
Exactly.
Ooh,
You
you're
just
not
got some
doing
facts.
real estate.
Makes
You just
sense.
have
Got
a
some
real
facts.
estate
Yeah.
license.
And that's the
Heard
same
it
thing.
again.
Say that again.
But that's the same thing that
Heard
happens
it
in my
here.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I sell insurance, but you have no clients.
Right.
You don't shake hands. You don't meet anybody. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So that's, in my opinion, that's the first part of the financial literacy. If you don't understand those facts, you're not going to understand the value of life insurance.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
With right now, one of the hottest topics going around right now and relating to that is I'm getting a lot of calls from elderly retired people. And I'm talking about the grandparents, the parents, the people that are in their late 70s and their 80s. They've been set with a certain income, the Social Security, their pensions, whatever it might be. So they notice that their bills are inclining, right? Their energy bills, their car bills, their insurance bills, but
Taxes.
their income coming in is like fairly staying the same. So they're feeling very squeezed.
Yeah.
And the topic is coming up right now is they don't have income because they're retired and everything like that. They have their Social Security and the pension, but they're calling about reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
Tyler, can you break that, simplify that for us? Because we have a lot of grandparents, parents, you know, there's a whole generation out there that are walking into this phase that they're set with their set income.
Yeah.
And inflation is kicking them in the butt because the bills are rising, but their income is not rising.
Yeah.
So that's why they're coming. What are the resources to get more funds to pay off some bills that they might have?
Right.
So I think that they're all leaning towards reverse mortgage, and that's something I didn't hear of since maybe 2012, 11, 10.
It was frowned upon. Everybody's
Right.
oh, it's a scheme, and you know it's bad for you. But honestly, if you use reverse mortgage in the proper way, it's actually a lifestyle. It's actually something that they can survive off of, you know, of the remaining of their life. You know what I mean? So, but the perfect scenario would be somebody that owns their house free and clear, right? And the lenders, depending on which route you go, you have a couple options. Either one, you take one lump sum, right? Or else they can just distribute monthly in whatever amount that, you know, you would feel comfortable with, right? But, you know, you have to be at a certain age. They do look at, you know, who's on the title of the house. So mainly, you know, again, the perfect storm would be somebody that's over 65 and up or whatnot. So, but it will be popular in this time being, because we get calls now, like people that just closed, clients that just closed, they just came down to Florida, or they just newly retired, and they bought this house, their dream house, and then all of a sudden the tax bill goes up by like more than double, right? Or else the insurance goes up more than double, right? And they're like, I can't afford this, Tyler. So at that point, they're calling, you know, you, Joe, you, Jeff, you know, say, hey, I might have to sell my house at this point and figure it out. Or else they can call a lender to do a reverse mortgage and see how much equity they have, you know. But it's a scary time because, again, like you know, inflation's real. Inflation's real. So.
I want to add a perspective to it. See, that's that side of it, right? Now watch this side. So if you look at it, most people love cash, right? Why? It's liquid, it's safe. I can put it in the bank. I could put it in my shoebox. I could put it in the walls. The point is, if I need it, it's what? There. The next thing they like is what? Stocks. Well, that's what they tell us to have, stocks. 401ks, IRAs, things like that, retirement accounts.
Exactly.
But would you guys agree? A little risky.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right? Because we love it when it's going up.
Right.
We can't control it when it's going down.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't like it, we can't control it.
Can't control it.
Right?
Yep.
So, boom. Then the next thing they tell us to do...
Damn it, Bitcoin!
The next thing they tell us to do is go to school, go to college, find that young man or woman, have some kids, buy a home. That's where you guys come in.
Yep.
But where's one thing that'll tear all that stuff down and affect all three quadrants that I just mentioned overnight? And most people don't think about it. What do you think it is?
I was thinking life insurance right off the bat.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Probably like whole life insurance.
So I'm going to say, see, bad health is your problem.
Yeah.
So because you're saying, hey, mortgages are going up, people can't pay their bills.
Right.
Well, how about this side? What about long-term care?
Yeah, that's true.
What about long-term care?
Yeah.
See, if I need long-term care, what the people don't understand from ages 18 and 64, there's a 40% chance you're going to need long-term care. When I say long-term care, what do I mean? Heart attack, stroke, third-degree burns, diabetes, cancer, walking the dog down the street, get hit by a car. Either way, I can't go to work, and I can't make money.
Yep.
So what are my options? Because there's a few people that don't give a shit.
Yep.
They don't care if you're sick. They don't care. That's your car note. That's your mortgage. That's your phone company. That's the kids' field trip. You don't pay the $20.
I need you guys to care.
Right? They don't care, right? So what do you naturally, as a consumer, have to do? I'm going to use my cash because bills need to be paid.
Spend your way out.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull money out of my stocks, my 401ks, my retirement, because bills need to get paid. Then I'm going to sell my home.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing on both sides. So with the reverse mortgage or with senior citizens, who the hell told them 32 years ago that there was something going to be called COVID and affect everything?
Exactly.
So now you go and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's real. Go to Publix. Who's bagging your grocery?
Yeah.
60, 70-year-old person.
Right.
Yeah.
And I promise you, they're not there because they want to. They're not there. They're there because they can't afford it.
Right.
Yeah.
That $1,700 that Social Security was giving you is not enough to pay your rent anymore.
100%. And it's so funny you mentioned health. I literally this morning, I couldn't sleep. I was reading Yahoo News, and one of the articles, like younger people are getting heart attacks.
Yeah.
Younger people are getting heart attacks.
I wanna say-
Vaping and all that stuff that's coming with it.
I want to say I read too that like 50% of America, or hear about that, has diabetes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because if you look around, you can just buy just the eye test. If you're in a room with 100 people, man, most of the people in this room are unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And you can't be out here and say, oh, half the world's unhealthy. But
Yeah.
it's like if you're in a room with someone, like in a group of people, you're going to say, man, most people are unhealthy.
Yeah.
Or live an unhealthy life.
Yeah,
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it comes down to like what
Stop eating within
Yeah.
2 hours before you go to sleep, man.
Not everybody's like Joe, where he this size all his life.
I
You
know.
But
I know.
You know
You
that
know-
ice cream right before you lay in the bed? Come on.
you know,
Why you rat me out, Joe?
It's good for your soul, Ty.
yeah.
It's good for
I'm
your soul.
happy.
Yeah.
you know, in the state of Florida, watch this. In the state of Florida, you guys aware on a yearly basis how much long-term care costs?
A lot.
What do you think? Throw a number out, Jeff.
I have no idea.
100,000.
When you say long-term
100,000.
care,
That means you need rehabilitation, chemotherapy. You need a nurse to take care of you
Yeah.
because you can't do two of the. You have two of the three, 2 out of 5.
oh, these like
body
your
aids.
last 15 years of life.
Like no,
because
ju-
you could have a heart attack. God forbid you have a heart attack today, and you can't move.
something as simple as
You need-
lifetime drugs.
You need someone to take care of you.
you know.
Right, you
Long-term care.
you have chemotherapy. You need rehabilitation if you like broke
Yeah.
your leg or something, or you got in a car accident. You got to relearn how to walk, how to talk.
Well,
brother,
in-
you're gonna have to have people monitoring you.
In
So even a nursing home, $10,000 a month.
It's a lot.
$10,000. So think about somebody putting their parents in there. So another part of the game that people are not paying attention to is that then your parents become a burden to you guys, the children. So you either put them in a home that you can't afford, or put them in a rinky-dink one where they're gonna kill them,
Yeah.
or the burden lies on you.
Yeah.
100%. That's facts. I mean, I think honestly, we never really talk about it. 'Cause nobody wants to talk about death, right?
Yeah.
Let's be real. But the honest truth is, it's going to happen sooner or later, and that needs to be talked. I think that should be a conversation now.
And the thing is, life insurance is an uncomfortable conversation depending on when you're having it. That's my experience of it.
Yeah. The earlier, the better.
The earlier, the better, man. Like my kids, 8, 9, 13, and 18 years old, they all have life insurance.
That's
All of them.
awesome.
And they don't have life insurance for if they pass away, right? Yeah, it may happen.
Right.
It's unfortunate whether they get sick or they pass away. But for the most part, I have insurance for them for the cash value, man.
Oh yeah.
For the cash value.
Now you guys are gonna have two options: either go get that good, tasty steak, that $300 steak every month, or you're gonna get a $300 life insurance policy to make sure your family's good. So you are gonna come across that fork road. Let's be real. So you're gonna have to pick which one you're gonna do. What's more important? Do make the right decision.
Obviously, it's the life insurance, but Joe, you buy $300 steaks. every
Joe
month?
is bougie.
Look, it's not. It's the people that I go with. I go out eat with Tyler, and they want wagyu and everything.
whoa.
I'm just like,
It's just crazy
I'm
because
cool
people
with
call
this,
me
the house,
bougie, but I'm not buying
appetite.
$300
They
steaks,
want that
Joe.
pampered
I'm around
steak.
some bad influence people.
They want that pampered
They
steak.
want that
man.
beer steak.
You go to Meat Market. Shout out to Meat Market. I love Meat Market. But they got
pretty good.
too.
It is good.
I mean, Market's a good
Fine,
restaurant.
Yeah, seriously, you pay for it.
Yeah, all day. But no, that's a good topic, man. And that's what we're really trying to share this with the community. And what does life insurance? We always talk about real estate or things that are happening in the community, but we also want to talk about life insurance. We do think it's important to plant your seeds now. It's not about, don't plant them at the very last moment. Oh, the hurricane's coming in 2 days. We need to go get a life insurance policy. Like, no, think ahead of the game. Encourage financial literacy. That's what we're here to do as well, and to share it with the community. So trying to help in any way to make right decisions for your future and for your families, right?
100%.
You need to control the things that you can control
Yep.
to soften the things that you can't.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's good. That's
You know,
good.
a
Jeff.
lot of people say, man, life insurance is so expensive. All right, well, let's add up all your apps.
It's an investment in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, well, let's
you
add
know?
up all your apps, man. Your Hulu, your Netflix. Let's add that up.
Right.
The zone,
About
man.
$250 of it. Oh, and let's throw your gym membership into that you don't go to anyway. That's about $350 a month that you don't, that
Exactly.
you put out, but you get no results from.
Right.
I don't
But
I worked it out.
But then people look at life insurance as the same way we look at car insurance,
Right.
phone insurance,
Yeah.
health insurance,
Yeah.
travel insurance. It's
Right.
an expense. It's annoying. We don't
Yeah.
want to pay it.
Yeah.
But the wealthy understand life insurance is the way to go.
It's an investment into yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you brought a good fact that, I never thought about getting life insurance for my kids. I mean, I have it for me and my wife, because we older, but, you hear in the news all the time, like things are happening, like you said, unexpected. Kids are dying before their parents. And I
Yeah.
get calls like that all the time. Like we had one closing actually in Orlando where the sellers, one of the person on title, he got killed. He got murdered. He got killed or something. Something happened, right? But it delayed the closing. They had to go through probate, all this stuff, and I'm sure the mom didn't expect that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I always say when it comes to life insurance for your kids, number one, you want to lock in those rates because it's cheap, right? Because
Right.
it's cheap. The younger you are, the healthier you are.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
least
true.
expensive it is.
Yep.
But you got to think into the future, right? I'm trying to teach my son, and he's very coachable when it comes to this. I'm like, son, I could care less about your car payment, your phone, any of that shit. Life insurance is the one bill you inherited at 18, bro. You're going to keep paying it for the rest of your life.
Right.
Because it's the only bill that's going to cover all the bills when shit goes south.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, and his mindset is, okay, cash, tax-free retirement. Like, that's just the language I've been speaking to him, and he
Right.
understands that.
Right.
But for your kids, it's like, what are their options when they're 18? Like, everybody wants them to go to college, right? You want your kids to go to college. I'm not that guy that wants my kids to go to college. They could go if they want. I'm not against it.
Right.
But I'm not the college dad guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, what are these parents' options? Their options is their kid's a phenomenal athlete, academics, they get a full ride scholarship.
Right.
Most kids don't.
Yeah.
Right? So you're either going to pay college funds or any of that stuff like that. Well, the way we fund our son's policy, he could use that to go to college, buy a house, buy a car, travel. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What do you want to use it for? Just keep paying it. It's going to keep compounding with no loss.
Right. What would you say the start date? Like what age for your when they were just born? You get life.
As soon as he gets a Social Security, he or she gets a Social Security,
Yeah.
you can insure them.
Oh, okay, that's good to
Couple
know.
days.
Wow.
Couple
It's because
days.
of price difference. I remember there was I had a family member. He was probably 70, and we went to go look for a life insurance policy for
Like
him.
$900.
And it was like $250 a month, and it was only going to give him, like 20, 30,000.
Oh, wow.
But if you were to do that with a child at $250, you're probably going to be getting $1 million policy, but that cash value is very great point.
Right.
I know I have a couple policies like that where I didn't even know it. Like I was paying for life insurance, and then over several years, and my wife looked and she was like, "Hey, there's equity in there that cash value's been making you money. So the money you've been putting in there, like I'm used to, maybe I'm thinking like I'm paying rent,
Right.
and all of a sudden they've actually been holding it like buying a home, equity stacking up and building off interest."
Yeah.
And it was like, she was like, "Yeah, there's $30,000 in there," and I was like, "What? I didn't even know it was there." I was like, "Oh," so that's where you learn in the long run of having it, staying disciplined and keeping it.
Right.
It'll be a benefit for you in the future. You're investing in yourself,
Yeah.
investing in your family, investing in the future. And I think that's an important part about, that's why I'm a big believer of the life insurance product is for
Totally.
those reasons.
Yeah.
And every homeowner should have a life insurance policy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy because as of the last 2 years, real estate and insurance, we've been marrying each other. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's been crazy.
Yeah.
I link up with so many real estate agents because they're like, "Listen, I just sold this home. Let me connect you. I just sold this policy. Let me connect you."
Right, right.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
100%.
Especially for mortgage insurance. Right? Mortgage insurance is a great product. It have floods, hurricanes that just happened.
Right.
Your house burned down. Great. Well, have you guys ever heard of mortgage protection? Mortgage protection is like a term policy. It's awesome because what's what I would do? I would take it. Let's say you have a home for $300,000. I'm going to take a policy out for $300,000. Duration 30 years because that's usually what the mortgage is.
Right.
The cool thing about this product is if I pass away, this product pays off my home free and clear.
That's what
like
I'm
that.
that's what I'm talking about.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you say, okay,
Instead of the
but-
burden rolling over to that mortgage bill
Exactly.
or
or the family
So-
losing it,
Right.
So,
right?
like,
So the family doesn't relocate, the house is paid off.
Yeah.
But here's the other cool part. But what if you say, "Man, I'm healthy or not even healthy and young, just hey, I got a lump sum coming, I'm going to pay off my mortgage."
Right.
Great. When you do that, all that is called the ROP. You get all your money back. So if you were paying $150 for let's say 30 years, you get $54,000 tax free back.
Oh,
So if
that's
you die,
awesome.
it pays off the home. If you don't, it gives you your money back.
Mortgage protection, guys.
Yep, ROP.
Yeah.
You know, and these are a lot of things that people just, like I said, when people hear the word life insurance,
I know.
they hit the 100-yard dash
they think
because
something
they
shady.
don't get it because most people think, no, I
Yeah.
got to use it, especially the culture we come from.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
life
don't
insurance
need-
is for when I
yeah,
die.
exactly.
It's die insurance.
If you're buying a house with a mortgage, you should really look
I
into life
100% agree.
insurance. It's
Yeah.
seriously, guys.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
That God forbid, but that'd be a very expensive burden to dump on your significant other or
Oh.
your children.
Especially if you're a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
income. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah.
And
Or like
what?
on young adult children too, same thing. Like
Absolutely.
yeah,
We're
you're
talking
dropping a
after this,
mortgage.
Manny. I'm hitting you up for mine.
Yeah,
So,
no,
for sure.
absolutely. Because at the end of the
that's
day,
really good.
at the end of the day, what people have, I mean, I used to be that guy because I own nightclubs. I come from owning nightclubs. I own the strip club in Orlando.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I was doing that, and Joe was actually telling me about life insurance because his wife got into it early in the game. I'm like, Joe. He's like,
You're like, what do I need
$20,
life insurance
$20,
for?
you get $100,000. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, Joe trying to kill me. And
Joe always trying to sell me
Joe trying to
something.
kill me. And go figure. He moves to Tampa. I start doing my thing with the clubs,
Right.
and then I end up in life insurance.
That's amazing.
It's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
awesome, man.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. It's like divine intervention for real because
Yeah.
I remember him talking about. He was the only person talking about it.
Right.
And I'm like, where the hell this come from? Whatever. But now I understand it so much, man.
Yeah.
And especially for the communities.
Yeah.
Especially for the younger people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even the older people, man. It's like we could help you as much as we can.
Yep.
This is for the younger people.
Yeah.
And it's all about how you fund it too.
The younger people are the ones who need the life insurance the most.
Because we're living reckless. Like you just said, hey, you know, what if it's the other way around? What if it's the child that needs long-term care?
Yeah. Yep.
What it's not uncommon that a child gets sick, right? So what if your child needs long-term care? It's still the same 100,000 for your
Right.
kids.
Right.
Maybe a little more because they may need an extra handler. Who knows what they need for the
Yeah.
kids side?
Yeah.
So even the living benefits that come within those policies.
Right.
So have you guys ever heard of living benefits?
I want to see, yeah.
So let me tell you how that works. So I don't care if you're getting a term policy or IUL. If your death benefit is $500,000, $500,000, these policies now come with something called living benefits. So if I was to have any of those things, heart attack, stroke, third-degree burns, diabetes, cancer, any of that stuff
it would
happens to
pay
me,
out for that
I could
long-term
now
care.
access
Yeah.
that death benefit.
Yeah.
But you notice I didn't say borrow or take a loan.
Yeah.
I said access.
Yeah.
It'll come. I can use it for my personal medical bills. It's tax-free. I never have
It's
to
a
pay that.
fascinating product.
So imagine your children, something happens to them. You have a $1 million term on them or whatever you have on them.
Yeah.
That you get the access to those long-term cares if something was to happen to them.
Gotcha.
And the way I look at that is I don't care with those type of policies. I don't care if I need special treatment in Costa Rica, Africa. I got my long-term care that's going to pay for me to go. And I think my family's not being affected.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
That's to me that's one of the biggest things in the communities because not everyone has the money to fund it to be a millionaire off insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
But they need the long-term care because that's going to be their biggest expense.
Yeah.
That'll flip everything upside down.
Yeah.
Manny, question for you. Are you doing any classes and stuff like that?
I mean, I train. That's all I do all day long.
Yeah.
Train.
Yeah, he'll be coming by to care
What
with
I'm
her.
doing here,
Yeah.
what I'm doing with you guys now,
Yeah.
is coming off like this because this is what my guys need to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
They need to understand that this is what it is because insurance isn't selling something.
No.
Insurance is where are you at? What are you looking for? What's your budget? Here's how I could help. It's not, I got the best insurance product for you. No, it's, man, where are you at in life? Because
Right.
insurance is all about what's your budget, first of all, and where's your health.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
And don't get twisted. You can get policies $10 a month. Like invest for your family. Like you know, I used to hear people like, oh, I want to make my family members, my kids. I'm doing this for my kids. I want to leave them, make sure they're millionaires, 100,000aires when I'm gone. Like. And I'm like, bro, you don't got to go the long route to do that. Get a life insurance policy, pay 10, 15, 30 bucks a month. Get something. You know, I don't care if it's temporary or whole life, whatever
better than
it might
nothing.
be. Just get something.
I love that concept. I want to kill a misconception. People think they'll come to us at 30, 40, even late 20s, and they say, hey, I want to do infinite banking because I know that's the big thing everybody hears about, infinite banking, be your own bank, which is cool. It's possible. It's real. It's a real thing. But not at $100 a month. No, if that's the case, everybody's doing it,
Right.
and we're all billionaires.
Right.
No, it's how you fund it. Now that's why it's good for the kids. If you start in low, you put in $300, $400, $500 a month in there. You put in 25, 50, 100. It'll have a couple $1,000 by the time they're 18, maybe
Right.
$15,000, $20,000. But if you're funding that thing for real, it's gonna do what it's supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So people can't also say that. Now $10 will get you some policies, right? It'll get you coverage, whatever the case may be. But what is $20,000 gonna do for anyone? That's not even paying for
Not
the
in this
funeral.
world.
That's not even paying for the
Damn, funeral expenses went up with inflation.
Yeah,
too.
bro.
God.
Yeah, 20,000. And when I think about 20,000, I think about a cardboard box.
Yeah. No, that's
So
that's
what
facts.
what kind of monthly payment are you talking about to fund something like that? Like 2,000, 3,000?
If you want to do something, you want to do like somewhere around there. Why? Because it's going to be tax free, right? And you're guaranteeing your own future. That's what the wealthy use the most is like insurance.
Yeah.
People think that
Warren
they're
Buffett,
there you go.
insurance guy.
I want something that I recommend, the Rockefeller method. Go look at that video, read that book. The
What's the book?
Rockefeller method
Okay.
is how they did it. They're never going to run out of money, man.
Yeah.
They're never going to run out. But then you look at a big name like the Vanderbilts, see what's happening to their fortune. It's in the decline.
Yeah.
They didn't do it right. The Rockefellers is the way you want to go.
Yeah.
Long-term money.
Insurance will change the world because
Yeah.
it's tax-free.
Yeah.
And this stuff has really created you, and is an important reason why we wanted to have you on the show is because it's kind of put you into a leadership role in your community. What I've been noticing from the outside in, I've been seeing, and I noticed that many people are gathering around you. You're educating the community on a topic that a lot of people just weren't familiar with. And so, definitely want to applaud you on that and doing that. And along your process, was there mentors that kind of you got involved with that helped you, or because you seem like you've developed into a mentor into your community? Are there people around you that you kind of
Yeah,
helped along the ways?
I gotta go back. I gotta go back first of all. Somebody who this guy named Larry, who sold me my first club along with my business partners. He always taught me the game, man. He taught me a lot of stuff. He was one of those guys that, because we brought him a lot of cash, and he was like, "Where y'all get this money from?" And we just took a liking to each other because of my work ethic. His office was right next to my club. I was there every single day working, morning, night, brooming, sweeping the door. I was doing everything. I didn't have those assistants at that time. I'm trying to make it happen.
Right.
And he's one of the first guys that ever came up to me one day, and he was like, "Manny, I have $50,000 for you." I mean, he told me I have a Lexus that you can have with my mentorship. Which one would you like? I was like, "Shit, the mentorship." It just made more sense to me. I've seen money. I've touched money at that point.
You took the dinner.
So I'm
You
like,
didn't take the $500.
I'm like, listen, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And me and him just built a relationship. I started seeing how he did things. I started seeing how he invested in the community. So he's in his community in Castleberry, Florida. It's a really small city in Orlando. But he controls it because he understands how to deal with the community.
Right.
I love that. And then my second mentor was, after I got rid of that club, I wanted to get into the adult. I really wanted to get into adult world from the beginning. And Mr. Bangle, he was he's who created Rachel's Gentlemen's Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, him and his partner actually created it. They sold it off. But he was a legend and still is a legend. I think he's like in his 90s right now. He's a legend. And when I closed my club, it was about a mile away from him. And he called me one day. And he's like, "Man, listen, you didn't even have a strip club. You had a regular club. And in my 30 years of being here, I never had so much competition." He's like, "Come see me." I went and saw him. I sat next to him for about 8-9 months, learned the business, and then he was a key point for me getting my adult club. Wow. So for that, I mean, those two right there were very important mentors in my life because they gave a shit and they were a different color than me.
Yeah.
And they were cool with teaching me the game, and they would always tell me things like, "My son doesn't have your drive, so let me put into you." And then when I got into the insurance industry, then I started getting around some players, right? Because then they started talking about it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And they start speaking just a whole different language to you.
Right.
And the mentor that I'm with on a daily basis, I'm in his office. I've been in his office for the last going on 6 years. His name is Jonathan Mason. And I don't know if you guys are aware of
Jonathan Mason, he's a beast.
I don't know if you guys know who Patrick Bet-David is.
Yeah.
The Patrick
Valuetainment,
Bet-David, he
Shout
owns
out
the
to him.
company that I work for. And when I came, he was still very hands-on. He ended up selling his company about a year, I think it's 2 years now, for about $300 million, whatever.
Yep.
But just to see this man build this thing. And I got the privilege of being in some of the boot camps with him. You know, I've been around him a few times.
He looks intense, right?
Oh yeah, he's intense. He's the type of guy, like the boot camp. I will never forget this day, man. One day we were at a boot camp in Miami, and we're all grown ass men, man. Everybody's grown, and somebody was falling asleep, and all I hear is, "Hey, you get up, stand in the back," and I'm like, "Stand in the back." I looked at the back, and the dude's just standing there because what are you gonna do? This guy could change your life.
Right.
And you falling asleep on him, first of all.
Yeah.
Right. Of all people.
Of all people, you're falling asleep on him.
Don't fall asleep in front of your mentors.
What I learned from them was a lot of level of accountability, man. I come from a little reckless mindset. I was in the streets a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes the way people talk to you, it leads to a fight. Mm-hmm. The way they definitely were coaching would lead to a fight in my whole world. But I had to evolve and I had to learn that business is business. And sometimes you can't beat around the bush. You have to tell people exactly what it is without being disrespectful.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know, so Mr. Mason definitely, you know, he taught me a lot about the insurance side of the game. But
And don't be around, shout out to John Mason, don't be around with some regular socks on. He going to check everybody's socks in the room. One thing about him.
That's hilarious.
and or have no shoes on while he's training. Then I met through him. I met Matt and Sheena Sapala.
Yeah.
Which to me, you know, Filipino.
Yeah.
You know, Filipino.
You
To
gotta meet
me,
these guys, yeah. They're definitely
he
powerhouse.
changed my life in the game for one reason. When I came in, I was used to being around wealthy people because of my strip club, right? You got the clients, you got that one VIP side, and you got the riffraff side, right? So I was already used to being around people with money. So we go to an event one day, and we're in Vegas, and I'm like, I'm watching because I don't do coke, I don't do none of these drugs, right?
Yeah.
I know businessmen. When the lights go on, they're out there partying. So I wanted to see who I'm gonna be around. So I was like, hey man, where the hoes? Where's the coke at? And he was like, oh, this is risky. It's gonna get right here. A cigar and a drink, brother, and we're gonna talk. That locked me in. Because I was looking for something to get out the world I was in.
Right.
If he would have been like, oh, they coming in a minute, I promise you, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. 100%.
I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
And then I just love his story, man. I love his story.
Yeah.
Him and his wife, blended family, and within 8 years, within the first couple of years in PHP, they crossed a couple million. Now they're worth over 20 million. I mean, they're doing their thing.
That's crazy.
And it's the coolest thing. I could call
He has a
it
book called, what was it?
Faith-Based Millionaire.
Faith-Based Millionaire.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. We'll check
Right?
that out.
Yeah.
And I've seen that evolve. When I first came here, he was growing fast.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just started going, man. It just started
Yeah.
going and going and going and going. And then the book came out, and now he got the seven-figure podcast on YouTube. I mean, I'm inspired by him on a daily basis. And there's one more shout out I want to give out to, and he's a younger brother. His name's Chris Hart. He's from Compton. He runs an insurance agency out in Maryland. And just to see where he's going, he's about to cross over $1 million a year. Has a humongous organization. Mm-hmm. I just love the fact where he came from, man.
Yeah.
I love the people that have a story because, in my opinion, those are the ones that are gonna attract more of the world.
Yeah.
The people with a story, the average people that came from something. It's one thing if you came from money or had some money.
Right.
I'm talking about the people that went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
I
Bottom to the top.
love being around those type of people
Yeah.
because I could relate.
Yeah. 100%.
Tyler, you have a coaching program. You have an event coming out where you're bringing a mentor of yours, and a coach.
Yeah.
Phil Jones.
Yep.
What's going on? What's more about that event you have coming up?
Yeah, Phil Jones. I was lucky enough to take part of his 3-day course, but the guy didn't even graduate high school, from what I understand, and he came from England, and he's always been selling since he was like the age of 10, 13, whatever, some ridiculous young age. And he just mastered the game of selling. And now he does a lot of training events for all these top companies. He did it for Tom Ferry Coaching, which is a huge number one real estate coaching. And he does it for everybody. So we did book him, but due to the hurricane, we're going to be postponing that till probably November. Nice. But now at this point, just because it's just a lot of stuff going on for people right now.
When it comes down to mentors, I know you've always dealt with many different coaches. Are there, what are the experiences like? Is it is there something you look for in a coach or a mentor? Is it like when you go out there and involved with getting with these programs? Is something that you're looking for?
Well, I kind of relate to Manny. I came from Section 8 when I came. I was a refugee, in Indonesia, from Indonesia, right? So when I came here, I was 6 months old, and I was in Section 8, so I didn't know anything, but I was very fortunate and surrounded myself with people that, end up making a come up, right? And you live and learn. And I think, he brings up a good point. Your surroundings are very important at this point. Who you want to be is who you want to be around, right? So I don't think I can stress that enough, because like I still have friends, they're doing 9 to 5, and I respect that 100%, but I have a different mind frame, and I want to surround myself with people that are like-minded so I can keep on growing, right? But I want to hang out with people that are even better than me, right? Because that's how you learn, is people that have more than you, right? And you got to understand it, and you got to be humble, and you got to be coachable. I would say coachable, like willing to take constructive criticism, because that's huge. And I'm the biggest. I would tell you, Joe, like, hey, Joe, what can I do better? What can I do better, Jeff? And I'll take it all day, and that's just one of the things that I feel that made me successful.
Well, you're a good one, because I gave some advice to somebody, and they effed me and told me not to lose my number. Like, wow.
Yeah, but just when it comes to coaching, I think whoever's I want to get coached by is like they have a track record, right? Number one, they have a track record. They're doing it, right? And number one, that I can feel like it's easy for me to soak it in, right? Because there could be the best coach in the world, but maybe I don't, like connect with them, right? So I think it's just everybody's different when it comes to that. So
how about you, Jeff? I know you have some really good mentors in your life, and people that you've been around. Anybody that kind of stands out, or something that's been very valuable to you when it came down to mentorship? What's any important keys through your experiences?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, Joe. You really want to find someone who wants to mentor you,
Yeah.
It's really hard to go seek a mentor. It's something that's like you have to be, you're lucky to find one of those people in your life, Think about how many teachers throughout your life that have like touched your growth or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like one or two,
right? Wow.
And you had like 30, 40, 50 teachers growing up, Finding mentors like a gift,
100%. And I'll take that mentor over Alexis any day.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Because his mentorship has led you can buy whatever Lexus you want.
Yeah. It's funny because his son took the Lexus.
Oh,
That's funny.
Don't take the Lexus, guys.
But back then his philosophy was like, man, he took me to. I remember he took me down the street, and I think I told Joe he took me to this street, and there was like literally 10 streets, and each street had like 20 houses.
Wow.
And he goes, I'm gonna buy every street. I said, what?
Not every house.
I mean, every street
right.
with the houses. And I'm like, well, what are we going to, remember, I'm still halfway there. Well, what are we going to do, Larry? Going to burn their houses down and get them out? He's like, no. And then he started talking to me. That's when I first ever heard cash for keys. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys remember that from back in the day, cash for keys. I didn't get the concept. Yeah. Now when I go by that street, he said, you'll know I own all of them when every house is tan with a red door. 4 out of 5 of those streets, every house is tan with a red door.
That's crazy.
He's going to leave his, I remember his plan was leave his kids. He has 3 kids, each one of them 75 rental properties.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Let's set them up for life.
Setting
your grandkids up really.
For life.
Seriously. Look, this is
your grandkids
generational
up
wealth. This is a great way. We had a great show today on Tampa Live, man. We appreciate our guest, Manny Vargas, your life insurance specialist, Tyler Wynn with Blue Gray Mortgage, Jeff Iglesias, your Tampa Bay Realtor, Prince of Bel Air Beach. Manny, what's some of your contacts? People might want to follow you, or just how can they, stay in tune with what you're doing?
On Facebook, Manny Vargas, simple. On Instagram, it's Manny_Vargas, BAB. My organization is called BAB, which stands for Bosses Among Bosses. The reason I called it that is, man, I don't want nobody to work for me. Like these guys that are here, Marcus and Clem, they don't work for me. Our job is to build an empire and they go take over territories. That's our job. So when you guys say mentor, I'm not at the stage where I feel like I'm mentoring them. I'm not there yet. I don't have that track record you're talking about, but I'm getting trained by people with that track record. So I'm a coach, right? That's how I look at myself. I'm coaching them to get to the stage I'm at. 100%. It's on me. Yeah. It's on me to grow and become the next version, because I do want to say one thing I respect about you guys doing LPT, right? The house is the product. Mm-hmm. But you guys are personally developing people. That's what most people don't understand. When it comes to like a network marketing type of system, that's what we are. Our product is insurance, right? But we recruit people, train them, develop them, teach them how to do what they do. Right. And a misconception with leadership is they think, I'm going to bring you in and tell you what to do. No, you got to bring them in and show you what to do, because in leadership, you got to deal with the whole person. Yeah. You're not allowed to deal with them from when they just come into the office to when they leave. That's a transactional leader. Exactly. That's somebody that doesn't build loyalty. Yeah. One thing about myself, one thing about myself and Joe, we've known each other since 6th grade, and I've always been loyal to Joe, and vice versa. For one reason, it's just the loyalty. Yeah. Anything he has, he tries to put me onto it. Anything I can, I put him onto it. That's business. If he's big in one side and I'm big in the other, what sense does it make for us not to work together?
Exactly.
So a lot of people like to get into the business and be like, oh, this person is a piece of shit, or this person doesn't want to learn. Well, maybe that's true. But have you ever put the mirror on you and said, well, how come the same piece of shit and the same unlearning type of people keep coming into my organization? Maybe you have something to do with it as well. Because in leadership, you have to deal with the whole person. I say this statement all the time. People are like, what the hell do you mean? Well, you're going to have to deal with their past trauma, their drama, their baby mama, their everything you want to deal with. But here's
Put that on a shirt. That's the same day on Tampa Live.
But look, here's the
Got
key.
99 problems.
Here's the whole key before I, the last thing was, here's the whole key. I got no problem dealing with that whole person.
Yeah.
If they have the data showing that they want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm chasing you and it's always a hassle, you never show up, that's different. That's babysitting.
Right.
But I'll deal with the whole person if they show, I want to win too.
Yeah.
Hey,
You gotta have that
we need
drive,
more
man.
winners.
You gotta have
We
that
need
drive.
more winners. You got to have that drive for sure. Hey, episode 3, Tampa Live. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys. Stay tuned. Keep up with us on YouTube. Watch the reels on social media, Tampa Live Podcast. And hey, we look forward to meeting you guys and speaking with you guys at the next episode. All right? You guys enjoy. Thanks.